I could agree with that. All right, let's get to the point about Square Enix, man. Let's talk about Square Enix. And I think we might have mentioned this in a previous episode. I'm not sure. Maybe it was just rumored and it wasn't confirmed. But Square Enix has been going through a really big just restructuring with the new CEO, his new plan and such. Apparently multiple projects have been canned, they've been canceled, they have been put down for good to streamline development and be more selective when it comes to future projects from Square Enix's perspective. They have apparently incurred a loss of about $140 million to make this plan happen and cancel the projects, to just pay those fines to make sure they start kind of fresh and move forward in the best possible way. So that project plan's in place, it's moving. A lot of projects have been gone. I assume there's a fair bit of stuff that people would have liked to see, but still it is what it is. But how do you feel about this new plan from Square Enix?
Did they cancel Kingdom Hearts?
Nah, I doubt they cancel Kingdom Hearts. I don't think they would have canceled Kingdom Hearts. If they did, they're idiots, but they're not stupid.
Bananas if they did this to be
they're not stupid. They're not stupid. don't even put that in the air. They're not stupid.
Nah. In all honesty, I think it's a smart move. I do think that they've been kind of fragmented in a lot of the stuff that they do. I really would love to see what they decided to scrap. Truly, that's a bigger question, but I think that this is not bad for them whatsoever. Scrapping some shit just to focus in on stuff makes a lot of sense. Like, imagine if you didn't have Forspoken and Final Fantasy 16 being developed at the same time. Or imagine if you had Final Fantasy, well, also I think Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth was also being made at the same time. Like, there's so many big games that were being developed at the same time that I think definitely hurt each other. Even thinking about it now, like what's in development at the same time as Kingdom Hearts 4, or what's in development at the same time as Kingdom Hearts 3? If I'm not mistaken, Final Fantasy 7 was also in development at the same time as Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yep, at the same time. That was technically Final Fantasy 15 was too. It was that damn long.
That's so many people, so many cooks working at the same building, at the same kitchen. Like, you could pull, like, I think one of the coolest things about 16 was that they were able to pull so many talented people from other areas to be like, yo, can you come over here and work on the combat for this? I can't remember who it was. He was he the director for Devil May Cry? The dude who worked on the combat for Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, Yoshida?
Yeah, like I think I can't remember. But no, there's like it was.
Oh, it's Suno, right? It's Suno.
Yeah, I think so.
My fault. And so yeah, it was Suno. I'm pretty sure it was Suno.
But like, imagine if you had those resources available to you on other games. Like, imagine if you had these people being able to be pulled at other times, or not necessarily being pulled, but like not being pulled in so many different directions. That's the thing that I think is the most important, is that there's so much goes into making video games, and having those resources available to other areas of your company would be really, really beneficial. I think it's just like it was a race just to get more money in the door, but I think it also makes the game suffer, which then in turn hurts the numbers coming in the door. And I also think that we're in a place in time where you're never going to not compete with games. Like, you're never going to be able to put out a game where there's no competition. There are still some months where you will have a lot of leeway, but a lot of leeway back in the day was I am 3 months out from my next biggest competition, whereas now it's like you have a month to work with. If you don't capture that audience in a month, their other game is going to come out. So I think making higher quality games at a slower rate would be more beneficial. Cutting down the cost of some of these games would be better than coming out swinging and being like, yo, we're going to drop fucking Forspoken and Final Fantasy 16 and you know what I'm saying? Like, slowing it down and working correctly.
I agree.
That being said, I hope it's not any good. I hope the projects that were canceled, maybe some of them should have just been like canceled indefinitely, but like, hey, we're gonna put this exactly. Like, I still think Forspoken could be a phenomenal franchise with the right time and the right leadership. But I do think that it's something that's gonna take a lot of time to really flesh out. And I would hate to see certain franchises dying for no real reason. So hopefully this streamlines the process and gives them resources that they can work with, but hopefully we're not losing a lot in the process.
Yeah, I agree. Looking at Square Enix again, they're no stranger to frayed development cycles and some big expectations and some underhits for things, some overspending on projects and such. And I think this plan is very smart. It's very astute at this point. Square Enix needs to focus in. They gotta lock in, and I feel like we have talked about this before at length, at least somewhere on the podcast. But rate this shit 5 stars, because you probably have heard this before if you've been listening for a good minute. But like, they need to focus up. They need to focus up. They've spread themselves too thin with a lot of different IPs, a lot of different projects that might not have hit, and they need to at least take it 2 steps back, reassess the playing field, and kind of bank on some of their solid hits. I feel like, again, the bad, I guess, the bad performances of Forspoken, the underselling of Final Fantasy 16, and at this point, on pace, in time it'll probably sell like hotcakes again, like when you look at the long-term numbers. But Rebirth ain't selling as fast as Remake, for obvious reasons that we covered last week. It's a weird spot to be in, but them taking their time and first and foremost fixing at least the development focus to be a little bit more a little less scatterbrained. You know what I'm saying? Again, I looked at the development between the Final Fantasies, Kingdom Hearts 3 during like the late 2010s, early 2020 cycle to really compare and see how many teams were frayed. I'm sorry, I'm gonna use the Kingdom Hearts example because damn it, that's my franchise and shit, and I still feel hurt by that cycle. Like, again, the Osaka team was kind of split off. What's it called? Nomura went to work on Final Fantasy Remake, but then he had to split some time with their responsibilities got divvied up, gameplay fields got switched, engines got switched. There were so many things that happened in there that there wasn't necessarily continuity at some points, and that again impacted the product. I'm not saying it led to the state that Square Enix is in now, but just that the characteristics, we got to try and fix those in terms of development process. So them hopefully opening up some of their channels to be a bit more inclusive of other platforms. Some of the exclusivity might be a thing, you know what I'm saying? Maybe a little bit quicker to the gun to try and get exclusivity out the window for some of these games. I would love to see more Xbox, more games on other platforms, again, like Final Fantasy on Xbox. I would love to see it come a lot quicker. Maybe that could be a big boost to like their sales numbers and stuff. In general, their sales expectations might need to be dialed back a slight bit to try and not lean on these heavy hitters so much and let it grow and flourish in time. Yeah, that's my biggest thing. If they can open up some of their some of their deals, like just put they did it eventually, but the exclusivity deals, making sure that they keep it open as possible. That when you think about the franchise like Kingdom Hearts, like Final Fantasy, those are real legacy titles, in my opinion. Those are real like legacy titles, and the children of those legacy titles who grew up with those things, they're all over the place now. So you don't want to necessarily, in my personal opinion, you don't want to alienate those people trying to sign into an exclusivity deal because you've known that one brand. Your fan base, your player base is all across all these platforms. I think Square Enix can identify with that more than most brands or gaming platforms or studios today. A lot of their franchises are tried, true, and tested over the span of 20-30 years, and kind of shoehorning themselves into one platform might not be the best play for how wide their fan base is across so many different platforms, regions, different demographics and such. I feel like that could be a big play. So if they open that just a little bit more, I think they'll have a much more fruitful time. Again, that includes big PC infusion. I don't want to wait a year, you know what I'm saying? I want to wait a year, 2 years for Final Fantasy and stuff. I hope that timelines for their games and the exclusivity contracts can get smaller and smaller as we go along, and I think that'll be a big help for them. But yeah, I have faith in this. This is a smart plan. This is a good plan to really, again, center themselves, really steady their hand when it comes to the development process and making sure they're hitting the right markers, they're doing the right things, they're not rushing anything out, to really putting quality behind it, they're not stretching their team too thin, and they're creating good products at the end of the day. This is smart. I agree with this.